Okay, we are back online. This is day 5 of the grand challenge, the Unscriptable. The Unscriptable challenge, where I have promised myself that every day for 30 days I will be challenging myself and my self-awareness and my abilities to communicate, reflect upon the world, and share my ideas, perspectives, and inner states of mind with you, dear listener, outside there in the whole wild world. Okay, could be better, but let's just leave it at that. So today has been quite chaotic, and I guess that just comes with traveling with a baby. And I know this is a topic that I've been speaking about in a couple of videos, but every day is a new experience, and today was nothing less of, what's it called? At least today ended up teaching us quite a few lessons. And one lesson would be that it is not recommended to be traveling with a baby without all your bookings made in advance, because we have ended up spending way too much time, effort, energy, and arguments with each other on where to live, how to get there, how to set it up with the baby, transportation, logistics, all the practical stuff. Really, really annoying things that you don't want to spend your time on while you are in such a beautiful places here in Thailand. So that's just one grand lesson that we have made on this trip. I won't make it any more elaborate than that. But another thought that I had while staying here in Koh Phangan, we've been here over a few years. I think it's my fifth time or something like that. And I obviously see how the whole island has been progressing and developing over the years since I came here 10 years ago for the first time. And for the better and for worse. Especially, unfortunately, for the worse. This time we've had way too many, I would say, negative experiences with, taxi drivers who got aggressive and high driving on the wrong side of the road, on the phone, all this crap, to crappy hotels that just didn't look anything like they did in the photos. But I don't want to brag too much, because how can you when you are standing here looking at this beautiful sunset and it's peaceful and it's nice, and now everything is actually perfect. But nevertheless, there's definitely been a trend towards the worst, in my opinion, in this place. And that made me do some research on the topic, and turns out that it's a very common phenomena called Dalton's life cycle of tourism places, which also the same thing goes for products and services, where you have these 6 defined stages of a product's life cycle. I think it's the first one is exploration, where there's a few if we're talking about tourist places like here, there's a few explorers who find a very secluded, exclusive, beautiful, serene, natural place where they, hang out. And usually it's the more creative types and hippie style people who like to do things a little bit different. And in this setting here in Koh Phangan, that was in the 90s, as far as I know, that some opportunistic people from one side of the spectrum, they decided to settle down on these beaches, and that's where the original full moon parties, they started as well. But since then, this place has gone through probably the 4 or 5 of the 6 phases that a place like this will go through in the different development stages, which will be like, it's kind of peaking in popularity, and the whole industry around tourism has really taken a hold, and the local culture has been completely transformed by the massive influx of tourism. And it's of course good in many ways, but it also is bad in many ways. Some would also, I think maybe it's the same thing as gentrification, or maybe that's more in city contexts or something like that. But it's sad to see that places like this is going through, like, yeah, it's just how it is, I guess. It's a natural cycle of life, and there's cycles everywhere in nature. So perhaps it's just how it is. But nevertheless, it got me thinking, because this place has always reminded me of, as we all know, the original The Beach. Now, yesterday I talked about Leonardo DiCaprio, which was a big idol of mine since I was a kid. And originally, one of the movies I was a big fan of was The Beach, which takes place on this island and some other mysterious islands. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you have not, it's this young backpacker guy, Leonardo DiCaprio, comes to the island all by himself, meets some cool French people. They hear about this mysterious beach somewhere close on an island, not too far off the coast than this is to this island. It's a mysterious, or a hypothetical island in the book, but they decide to go on a swimming trip, or they decide to swim towards this island because they got a hold of this mysterious map from this guy. And then they get out to the island. Apparently there is this very hidden secret beach where all the cool people, they hang out. And this is obviously illustrating how the first phase of this development cycle sometimes could be looking. Sorry. And then a lot of shit happens, and in the end, I don't want to spoil it too much, but he comes to this conclusion because everything goes sideways in the end, and he has to go back to his home country after some dramatic intrigues and stuff. But I remember the quote by Leonardo where he says, "I still believe in paradise, but at least I know that it's not somewhere you go. It's how you feel for a moment in your life." And that makes a hell of a lot of sense now, because this is where the movie was shot, and it just fits very nicely to this experience that we've had. Paradise will always exist. It's actually everywhere around us. It's just a matter of state of mind that all of us can struggle to grab hold of sometimes. But you can find it anywhere. You can find it at home, you can find it here, you can find it on the North Pole if you're really, really routined or good at mastering your mind. But that's just a little note for today. That's all for now. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.